Welcome back. Welcome into the Lions Share podcast. Post Jaguars, post week 11 in the NFL. The Lions are now 9-1 and hold a tie for the best record in the NFL, with the Chiefs dropping one to the Bills today. No more undefeated teams. That leaves just the Lions and the Chiefs up top. A lot of people going to have the Lions up top after their 52-6 whomping in Detroit in front of that home crowd who they haven't been around in a long time. So much to unpack from the day that was just an incredible day. You can all cue up the song Taking Care of Business, as we kind of foreshadowed at the end of last episode. Bad on me for not jumping on that train. But Andrew, you said this in your halftime capsule. You felt like the Lions were just playing in another league today. The Jaguars and the Lions didn't seem like they both played in relegation NFL.
Yeah, the Lions definitely a form of the Premier League on display out there today. I don't know about you guys. It just seemed like the Jaguars were going slower. By the time they make a handoff, there was 2-3 defenders in the backfield ready for him. Like, it just seemed like the Lions were going in another gear that the Jaguars weren't ready for nor were capable of.
I mean, they were all over the place today. Like, the one thing I wish I would have said in my halftime capsule is, and you guys were texting it, like, they were hitting today. And you'd love to see it. I mean, that one hit that, and I always complain when guys don't wrap people up, but, like, Branch was like a torpedo today. Like, out for skulls today. It was awesome. I mean, it's just one of those games that, like, defense, specialty, all phases of the game. Well, except for Fox could have stayed at home today.
Yeah, he didn't even need to suit up.
That isn't the first time where he hasn't needed to suit up too. And Mitchell, you're right. Torpedo is the perfect adjective for that tackle, because, oh my God, he came from off screen so quickly and so violently. It happened so fast. It was fun to watch.
So you got Brian Branch flying around trying to decapitate people, and Kerby Joseph, the heat-seeking missile for the football, snatches another victim today. It's crazy.
Mr. Zuper himself, Andrew, and I think he's got his jerseys officially in the store now, finally, after so long, back in the store. Gets another one today. That puts him, is that at 8 now? I believe it is. He's got 8 on the year.
I think it's 7. I think he's leading 7.
You're so right. I see it in the notes now. 7, yeah, but he, like you said, leads the league. I don't know where the hell I got 8, but he leads the league in interceptions, and he's had, I think, like 14 or 11 since. It's been an incredible run for Kerby Joseph, and Andrew, you've alluded to it in the past. He's just there always when you need one, and even when you don't need one against the Jaguars, when you're blowing them out, he's there too. Mr. Zuper himself, and back to your point about Fox, too. I'm looking forward to the Detroit Lions social media team to post those highlights for Mr. Jack Fox today.
Yeah, what are his highlights from today? What can we say?
He held that ball for Bates. He held that ball a lot of times for Bates.
Okay, excuse me. Yeah, I forget that is also his job. It's going to be a quick cut, that's for sure.
A lot of field goal, or a lot of extra points, too, for Bates today. So he did see some action. He just didn't punt much at all. They didn't punt at all. Is that correct?
Unless they did late. I took dog for
maybe
a walk.
Late, but I still don't think they did, because the offense still looked good at the end of the game.
Yeah, 0 punts on the day.
I didn't see much of Hendon. What was your guys' take on him if you saw him?
He did pretty. I think he finished 3 for 4, but there was a drop, I believe. I think the 4 was the incompletion was a drop. So he looked pretty good, moving in space. I mean, he looked like Hooker.
Yeah, I think he had a run too as well, and then he had 4 carries on the day, 4 carries, but a lot of those were the kneel downs to end the game. So you lose a yard on those. So I think he had 1 carry for like 5 or 6 yards, and then he lost 3 yards on those 3 kneel downs or whatever it ended up being, how many times they had to knee. But I didn't see much of it. Like you said, Andrew, I went to get the mail. I had some time to go do that. You don't always have time to go get the mail during a Lions game, and that is a little bit of a walk for me, not to brag. But so that plays into it too. But I did not see much of Hendon, but I was glad to see the offense finally surrender to the backups after they were out there for, it was probably an appropriate amount of time, all the way, like, I think right into the start of the fourth quarter. They let them finish out that drive. But
One
yeah,
more
how
drive.
about that?
Yeah.
first 7 possessions, 7 touchdowns on the first 7 possessions. Insane.
Yeah, so before anyone comes on and says low level analysis and calls us homers, it's called the Lions Share Podcast. We're aware that the Jags stink. We know their defensive is bad. I think they're ranked last in overall defense in almost every category. They're way down there. We understand that.
If they weren't today, they are now after today.
Yeah, we buried them. We buried them. It's fine. The Lions are still really good. All of these things can be true. We're aware.
Here's the thing too, Mitch. And like even in the Dan Campbell era, it's like a lot of Lions teams play to the competition that they've got out there. It's not like the Lions ever really blow out teams, right? It's the diaper game. It's the Dan Campbell diaper games. Even in the Dan Campbell era, when you should dominate a team, not so much going to happen under Dan Campbell. It's awesome to watch it happen now, and that they have free reign
so effortlessly too.
Well, this is what we talked about. Like this is what you're expected to do when you are at, I would say probably after tonight, tomorrow morning, maybe odds-on favorites to win the Super Bowl, if not, tied with the Chiefs. You are expected to go in and beat up on inferior teams, and they did it in historic fashion. 38 first downs, biggest loss in Jaguars history, biggest point differential in Lions win history, best start since I think 1934, 36. Where are we at?
34, yeah.
This is what you're expected to do. And I mean, it's all good things. Lions are for real, and everybody knows.
You were asking in the preview show for a walloping on the Jags. Do you think they checked that box?
I would say, yeah. Would they have over 600 yards net? Like I think the box has been checked, crossed out, blacked in, all the above.
Yeah.
Yeah, never would I have guessed that 42 was my prediction score for the Lions would have been low.
Yeah, they get to 52 for the second time this year. They did the first time against the Titans. 52-6 is their widest margin of the year, though. They gave up a few points there to the Titans early into that one. Remember Mason Rudolph running into the end zone. It was tied 14-14. That was crazy time to be a Lions fan. They trounced them after that. But yeah, today this is what I've been asking for the whole time we've been doing this podcast, Andrew. We had a lot of growth in that first year when they started out 0-6 or 1-6, whatever it was. They started so poorly, and we've been through the whole rebuild that is Dan Campbell. But every year I've been saying, can we please just start winning some games by more than a few, like a touchdown or a field goal at the end? And it seemed like it didn't matter the level of competition. It didn't matter that it was going to be a close game, like you said, Andrew. So many diaper games that we've coined the term at this point. And I was really hoping for this year to be that year that they finally do that. And not only are they not doing diaper games, it's like I don't know what the antonym of a diaper game is, but it is what we're experiencing, and it's just nice to see them just absolutely wallop teams and do so in such a big fashion. I mean, 52 burger today. I mean, the second time they've put up 50. And they've had an opportunity to be above 50 in other games too. So. Yeah, it's just incredible. And Andrew, you say it in your halftime capsule. I'm going to steal your word here, but just the efficiency on offense and defense too, but the offensive efficiency to go 7 possessions, 7 touchdowns, including one of those that they had to convert a 4th down on in the red zone. You knew they were going to go for that. There's no chance they're going to scoop Bates out there, but they did get Bates his. So shout out to you, Mitch, for another 50-yarder.
First of all, I appreciate that. Second of all, boys. Super Bowl odds. Lions plus 350, Chiefs plus 450. It's official. Super Bowl favorites.
We're climbing. What's the Dan Campbell gif where he's going like this in the locker room? He did that a couple years ago. It's finally coming. It's up and to the right. The trajectory is insane, and watch out, NFL. You better watch out because the Lions are coming. But wow, that's incredible. Do we have an opening line for them versus the Colts yet? Any guesses?
Ooh. Oh, guess that line versus the Colts. I'm gonna say, God,
man,
8.5.
Ooh,
what'd you say?
8.5, I think.
Andrew,
man, I was just thinking about their 13.5 point spread from last week that they've just absolutely dominated. I think they're coming out with double digits again. It's the Colts struggled against the Jets. I'm thinking 12.5 points to open.
I'll give it 10.5.
7.5.
Ooh, that feels disrespectful. I
Dude,
mean, obviously the Colts are not the Colts are a much better team than the Jags, but still.
That double digits in the NFL is like, for frame of reference, opening lines next week, there's only one double digit line next week, and it's Chiefs Panthers.
That feels right. Chiefs off of a loss, going to be hungry against a bad Panthers team. Yeah, I'm going to see if we can update the document. But I mean, just to talk about, like we were just talking about, we've been asking for some non-diaper games. We've been asking for some blowouts. We've gotten it, but it just took. I had to take a moment to step back there when you said 7.5 point spread, because first couple of years that we were doing this podcast, we would have been happy with a 3.5 spread and be a favorite against anybody. Remember those years, Andrew? We didn't even have any games, I don't think, where they were favored. And then I remember the first time they were favored, like in a big way, and it was like, this is a big deal. Circle the calendar, folks, shareholders. The Lions are favored by more than a field goal.
Which is crazy because Dan Campbell is just the GOAT against the spread. And now that they're favored, like,
Still
can you imagine? Yeah, can you imagine being like a better today and like locking in Lions by 40 points? I would have loved to see the odds on that.
I'm trying to look up his overall record against the spread. Dan Campbell's overall record, I don't know if this is from AI, so who knows if it's true. Overall record as a head coach against the spread is 39-24, which is the best mark of any head coach in the Super Bowl era. So there you go.
Crazy, but Mitch, can you imagine being a better and just like, taking Amon-Ra to score a touchdown in your sleep?
Just like Amon-Ra, David Montgomery, like it is so ridiculous.
Just throw some darts against the dartboard. Whoever it hits, probably going to be. What do we have? Five different scorers today with touchdowns. Monty had 2, Gibbs had 1, Saint had 2, Jameson had 1, Brock Wright had 1. You get a touchdown.
Yeah, and like while we're at it, it's so early that it can't happen yet. But like we're only a few weeks away from them clinching a playoff berth, which is also insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean we're about to enter week 12. This is when it's going to start happening. Teams are going to definitely get eliminated after this week, probably, namely the Jags. After this performance, they'll be 2-9.
Yeah, let me see here. You gotta think Jags, Raiders, Jets, Titans, Browns. Browns, Titans, Raiders, Jags are probably all very close to being eliminated. But again, the AFC is so shitty that like they're still not mathematically done.
Do you guys want to be the first podcast, the first association to eliminate the Jets from the playoffs?
I was not paying attention to what you said.
I thought you. I think I know your answer to this. I said, would you like to be the first podcast to report that the Jets are not going to make the playoffs?
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Eliminated by the Lions Share podcast. The Jets will not be in the AFC playoff run this year.
Get your Sharpies out, folks. Cross them out.
Yeah, a couple of these teams you can cross out, and hopefully the Lions after this week. I mean, you're already at plus 99%, so I think they're doing okay atop the NFC. But the Eagles won this week, so
the Jets have to play the Seahawks, the Dolphins, the Rams, the Bills, and the Dolphins. The only game they might be favored in or should be favored in the rest of the year is the Jags.
Yeah, that's saying something.
Can we also eliminate another team?
Yes, of course.
The Bears.
Yes.
That's a tough loss for any Bears fans out there today.
Yeah.
That's a heartbreaker. To play that well against the Packers team, that was beat up, lost a couple guys today. Off of a bye, though, man, that's... I said that game could be funky. I didn't think it was going to be that funky. But, hey, Andrew, do you want to talk about the fact that this was a scoregami? We got a scoregami in the Lions game today. 52-6 is a scoregami. How are there still scoregamis left at this point?
And we just keep getting more and more offense involved, more points scored, and not many 50 burgers out there. So as soon as you start creeping into it, that's when you get the opportunity. Especially when it's that lopsided. A lot of the times when you're creeping up into the 50s, there's, somebody chasing you. There's a reason to get up that high.
Right. And that puts their point differential for the year, folks, shareholders. The Lions now plus 159 on the year in point differential. Just an astronomical number. Put that in perspective. Nobody else but the Buffalo Bills plus 106. And I don't know if these are updated with today's numbers or not. So I could be wrong.
They probably aren't. They probably if people who listen to this podcast take nothing else away, pay attention to point differentials. Pay attention. It is such a sneaky good indicator of what a team is or is not. A prime example is the Atlanta Falcons, who got absolutely dismantled today by the Broncos.
Have a negative 30 point differential with a winning record. They're the only team with a winning record that have a negative point differential. So,
and that's
you're exactly right.
Not just a Atlanta Falcons thing, but a Kirk Cousins thing. That seems to follow him everywhere.
Yes.
Bingo.
Ben, did you see they took him out today?
They took Kirk out. They took Captain Kirk out.
With 9 minutes left, the game was over. Michael Penix Jr.
Ah, duh. Forgot about that guy.
Yeah, you did.
The heir to the throne. Yeah. Back to the Lions real quick. Did you guys see that Jared Goff with the wheels today? Not only did he go 24 of 29, have a perfect passer rating, 4 touchdowns, but he also ran for 21 yards, the third leading rusher on the team.
He looked kind of fast. I texted you guys, like, he actually looked athletic today. It's the first time I've seen it from him.
He's so painful when he leaves the pocket. It's so slow.
I wouldn't say fast, Mitchell. I don't know if that's the
fast
comparatively, yeah. If you did like what the Madden simulations and you did Goff every other game before today and Goff today sprinting towards the end zone, the one today dusted the old guys.
Yeah, because coming from that tall, long-legged giraffe, I'd say before he was a trot. Today he got up to about a gallop. I think that's what you'd call it.
Okay,
Probably
that's fair.
And that was definitely that designed run towards in the red zone there. I think Ben Johnson thought that was going to be a walk-in touchdown for Jared Goff. I think he was actually upset when it didn't go
in. Yeah. He's just, like you said, he's just not that fast. That's okay. And that's okay. He doesn't need to be. Perfect passer rating today, like I said. But at one point, with his 21 yards rushing, he had more than ETN on the other side of the ball. The Jacksonville rushing attack almost non-existent. ETN, the leading rusher for Jacksonville with only 27 yards. They totaled only 41 for the day, and the Jacksonville offense as a whole only 170 yards. So, doing numbers for you guys over there with your defense, top 10 defense, that is going to bring down the average substantially with only 170. They had right around 200 and something last week that they gave up, so the trend continued to go down. With 10 games under their belt, this is by far their best defensive performance, and did a lot of that without Anzalone, who we should touch on. We didn't want to, start it off with negativity on such a positive day, but it just seems like when the Lions beat up on teams, they lose somebody. They did so in Dallas, and we lost Aiden for the year. This time it was the other captain on the defense, Alex Anzalone, the linebacker who's been here since the Dan Campbell regime started, came over with him from the Saints. He's put in countless hours of work to better himself, and it's just unfortunate. You hear him, you don't hear him, you read his lips and you hear him say it's broke. And Dan Campbell, after the game, gives us the bad news that is 6 to 8 weeks for Alex to get back out there, which, if you look ahead in the calendar, 10 games in, that would make him eligible to return by around the playoffs, which is tough, but it's not season ending. I guess that's the grain of salt.
Fresh for the playoffs, and you know what? Silver lining of this week, we saw Hutch in the tub. Hutch getting some workout in. We like to see it. Love to see it.
We also had Malcolm back on the field today too, which is big for the linebacker room.
Absolutely. That's what I was going to ask you guys. Actually, like, do you think they go out and get a linebacker somewhere, just like as a depth play?
I think
Neiman's been playing well, so I don't know that they need to, but.
Yeah, I think they'll do the classic thing, get somebody off another practice squad just for depth.
Just to have someone around.
just to have somebody on the other practice squad, but I think they like developing guys and bringing out, and I think they're very proud of that linebacker room as well. Plus, you get Rodrigo healthy, putting in some good time, and just when Neiman was needed, yeah, like he said, he showed up. So I think they're going to sit there.
And you know what? Trade deadline's over, so obviously you can't trade for anybody either. So, but we just talked about Jack Campbell on this podcast last episode about how he's progressing a little slower than maybe we had hoped. Maybe just maybe with Alex out, he can step up in a big way, and we'll see a big step in the terms of his growth stage too. This is a great opportunity for Jack Campbell over the next 6 or so weeks.
Well, they said it all day too. He is the leading tackler, so he's already kind of there, but maybe he benefits a lot from Anzalone plugging holes on the other side, but you're right, Ben. We'll see.
Yeah, and shout out to you touched on it, Andrew, that whole room as a whole, but Calvin Shepard, that guy is an absolute leader of men on that linebacker core at the helm. But also this from Alex Anzalone, he tweeted this one out. I don't know if you guys caught this, but he said, "Thank you everyone for the absolutely just a positive guy, Alex. Thank you for the well wishes. As an athlete, a lot of times you think, quote, why did this have to happen? Quote. But I also like to think about all the countless reps something bad didn't happen. I'm beyond blessed, and I'll be back in no time. Fresh legs and all." So
Gonna be fresh.
Yeah, he's going to be fresh, hopefully, week 17, week 18, and if not, ready for the playoffs, which will be right around the corner here. Mitch, you dropped a thing in here. I think I've got it in the notes already. 24 straight games with a rushing touchdown.
Oh, you do.
That's an NFL record, but I appreciate you shouting out the NFL 345. Yeah, including the postseason. The longest streak in NFL history. The previous longest streak was 21 games held by the 1970 Miami Dolphins. Oh, wait, no, that's not true. Their streak of 21 straight regular season games. That's what it is. I read that a little too quick. But, yeah, what an incredible stat. 24 straight games with a rushing touchdown. Shout out to Sonic and Knuckles.
Yeah, both of them. It is so weird. This was the first game I think I noted where it wasn't a complete first half, second half. Hey, Monty, you get the first half. It was pretty even in the first half, but it was like, hey, you got yours, Monty. Let's make sure Gibbs gets his 1 yarder as well.
Updated season totals too for you, Andrew, who you have in your guarantees for the year, or surprises. Dual 1,000-yard rushers. So Monty with a little bit of the heavier carries this week for the first time in a while, but only 6 more yards than Gibbs. He ends the day with 75 yards rushing. That puts his total at 595, right around 600 for Monty, and Gibbs approaches 800, knocking on the door. He is up to 796.
Yeah, I think that what's going to help that too. The entire coaching staff knows that they both want to be dual 1,000-yard guys. If Gibbs gets there and Monty's anywhere close, they're going to feed him heavy.
Mitch, did you catch the stat that we talked about how fast Sonic is before, and you gave us that stat of how fast he is off the line? But 2 of the fastest runs in the NFL this year are held by Gibbs.
Does not surprise me at all. I did see that. I just I mean, he's so fast in space. And did you guys notice it again today? He did he got pushed out of bounds and he just keeps going. The white chalk yardage for Gibbs has to be insane.
Yeah, off the charts compared to anybody else. I think every time I see that now, it's impossible not to notice it now that you've pointed it out to me. So thank you for that. Andrew, you talked about the other guy, Knuckles, David Montgomery. Speaking of next-gen stats that they don't track, does it ever occur to anyone, shareholders, have you ever noticed, does David Montgomery ever get solo tackled?
We got to run the tapes back, man. I don't think he has been brought down by one human being this year.
And the stats continue, these quick hitter stats we've got for you. St. Brown with his 8th straight game with a touchdown. That's a record, too. It's just incredible, these stats. We would have died for any of these stats, just one of these a couple years ago. Now we have so many. We have an abundance. It's just crazy to sit back and be on your couch, absolutely chill, and watching the Lions dominate teams that are, teams they would have struggled to beat just a couple years ago. So that's incredible. And we also got the celebration too. You guys might be a little bit more Dragon Ball Z type than me. I can't speak much on this, but we got a
What do you mean by Dragon Ball Z type?
Well, I think you guys used to talk about it in the past, that you guys watched it.
It's a great show.
I for one can't say that I've watched it, but apparently they celebrated it in Dragon Ball Z fashion, St. Brown and some others.
Yeah, a lot of filler episodes. If that was really Dragon Ball Z, they'd still be powering up for that blast.
We're loading the video right now so we can watch it. We're gonna mute this.
Oh, that was sick.
Pretty good. Had to have some practice on that. Not the first time. I mean, these guys could do special effects. This is
That was good.
I love the crowd in the background too. Just what an absolute showing in front of Ford Field, in front of my parents too. By the way, showing up and showing up.
That.
You guys want to talk about it? They sent in their own halftime capsule.
Yeah, I want to hear. I've been waiting for this.
Well, I don't have it for you, but I can surmise what it is, which is it's my parents with the Ford Field in the background, and they said they brought in a couple things that they have learned, and they want to share. One, you got to know the fight song before you get. Oh, actually, one was get there early because it's packed and hard to get in. Second thing, learn the fight song. Got to know the fight song. Third thing, scream a lot, yell. And if you can't yell the whole game, pro tip from my mom, yell into your phone, record it, and just play it on loop. That works too. And my dad added a fourth thing, which is the big beers are shorter. Or sorry, let me get this right. The big beers are cheaper than the short beers, so buy the big beers.
Yeah, that's a trade up strategy. They're trying to get you to buy the bigger ones. I assume he means price per ounce. Is what's going on here.
That's a basic math thing.
If they're really selling the 24 or the 16 ounces for less than the 12 ounces, then something's up. But I think you're right. I think it's the price per ounce we're talking about, the PPO here. So yeah, but what an absolute thrilling game for anybody.
Is he
in
listening?
attendance.
Is your dad an avid listener?
Oh, 100%. Number one
Check
shareholder.
the Papa Fox, if you're listening, try the price per ounce at the grocery store. You're really in for a surprise when you start looking at the bigger boxes.
And no Costco option.
Next time you go home, yeah, your parents' place is just gonna be filled with all like extra party size stuff.
Absolutely, as they should. Those young retirees, them. What else? We had big hits that we touched about. How about the J-Mo touchdown? How about him? First of all, the play before that where he does like 3 spin moves and loses yards and almost loses the first down. Might as well have lost the first down. Makes it all up, makes us all forget about it by scoring an absolute legendary touchdown. Tops it off with none other than your favorite, Andrew, Marshawn Lynch, beast mode. Hold my blank.
Don't let that guy. Sorry. We got noises coming from up the hallway. That took me by surprise. Don't. If you let that guy get caught in stride, he's gone. I mean, it's over. That guy is so fast.
Who's fast? Yeah, you got two of the fastest guys in the league with Gibbs and J-Mo.
Did that come through on your guys' end? I heard a little holler.
We'll have to check the tape. I didn't hear anything. I heard a cat, maybe. I hear those often, though.
I just assumed that you had a brain fart and just lost your train of thought, if we're being honest with each other.
Yeah, I thought we had a mute monster situation. I thought maybe you thought you were muted.
I thought your brain muted yourself. Like you just stopped.
I thought something happened in the NBC pregame, something.
Not quite. I heard a little might have been a dog, not sure.
Well, we'll have to check the tape, see if that came through, and maybe you'll be vindicated on that. But yeah, J-Mo ends the day with 4 catches, 124 yards, that big touchdown beast mode. Amon-Ra St. Brown, not to be outdone, 11 catches, 161 yards, 27 his longest, and 2 touchdowns. once again, once again, the Goff to St. Brown connection is strong. 11 targets, 11 catches, not a single miscommunication there between the two. And Gibbs added the one catch for 54 yards to get himself over 100 all-purpose. Just an offensive explosion, like we said, 644 yards, 450 of those coming through the air, and 196 of those coming from rushing. Absolute bounce-back game for Goff. So the Goff haters that came out with the 5 INTs, very quiet after this one. So shout out to Jared for quieting the haters and getting us some confidence back as well, because we needed that. We needed to see that too.
Yeah, it was a great game for him. This is what he needed to do. Couldn't have come against a better team. Again, Jags defense is in a sorry state, but good for Jared. Great game for him.
Yeah, proves that what AG said after the game last week wasn't just coach speak. It's the real deal.
Absolutely, and shortly after, bouncing all around here, shortly after the Alex Anzalone broken forearm, we had Zadarius Smith go down. We all gasped. We all think it's cursed. Luckily, he came right back. He gets himself a half sack. Didn't get the full sack today. He he shared a half sack with Jack Campbell. That's your one sack on the day for the Lions. But any thoughts on Zadarius? I mean, I don't think he was out there a ton. I think as the game went on, he was maybe out there more. But his celebrations are strong. I'll give him that.
He got a few in on the one sack, but I think he's just energetic. You just love to see it. That's what they need. We saw it again today. Ben, you caught it. I'm glad I'm not going crazy out there. James Houston beats his guy and then just kind of gets happy feet and falls over in the backfield. So
he did maybe get a little push in the back, but still, oh my god, that was hard to watch.
It's happened so many times. I thought it was a good debut. This was a great game for the Lions as a whole. You get to rest most of your guys for the entire fourth quarter. I don't know. I mean, just a good game. I feel like my halftime capsule, I didn't even know what to say. It's just like, yeah, everything's good. Just keep doing what you're doing. Good.
It's hard to be nitpicky about anything that happened today.
Yeah, the only downside is the Anzalone situation, but you guys are right. Zadarius, I think he's got to narrow in on one celebration, maybe the crawl, or just the I'm eating, or maybe
fair,
the chip shot.
One.
In Mambo.
I feel like you're right. He did the crawl, then he did the eating, and then Rodrigo came up and was like, whoa, dude, like we were gonna do a chip shot. Oh, and then
and then we were gonna do the salsa dance as well. So,
yeah.
So I think it's got to narrow that in. Also, I know when we talk about Max Crosby, about how big he is, like when you watch him on TV, he just looks bigger than other guys. Felt that way about Zadarius today.
He is a big dude. Zadarius is. Comes in at 6'4". That's what I was thinking. 6'4", 270. Yeah, it's a good debut for him. I'd like to see more out of him against the Colts. I'd like to see the defensive line have a day against Anthony Richardson and contain him. So not to look ahead too far, but that's it. I mean, that's what you're saying. 54-yarder for Bates. That's the only thing we really have from special team. No fireworks from Raymond on any of the returns. Really pretty contained day for Khalif. But Bates adds a 54-yarder just to have a little insurance there later in the game, gets him above 50, and gets Mitch to 4 of 4. That means you only need one, pal. You just need one more 50-yarder.
Yeah, it feels good. I was hoping, like we talked about, and Andrew, you said it in the group, I was hoping we were going to get Bates trotted out for just an insanely long one. It just never happened because they were scoring so much. But it feels good. It feels like that's a good lock. Maybe I almost feel a little bad about it because I'm like, should I have predicted like 10 field goals of 50 or more?
Well,
notes for next year.
And it's funny how quickly it's changed because we went how many games without a 50-yarder too. So
right.
All these in the middle of the season, all of a sudden we're up to 4. Just a couple weeks ago we had 0, and then we got 1, and then we got 2 in one game last week, and then a 4th today with 6 games remaining. So 7 games remaining, excuse me. All right, well, let's go to halftime capsules. Not to call these BAMS players of the week. These are halftime capsules, folks.
Nice.
First of all, pretty soft penalty on Aleem there at the end. They were
locked up.
Aleem gave him a little extra shove there. He flopped on the other side. Jaguar did. Nothing there. Lions up 28-6 over the Jags at half. Lions leading in every statistical category imaginable. It's kind of what we hoped for. Would have liked to have seen them keep them out of scoring position there before the half, but it is what it is. Anza got a little shoulder there that he's dealing with. See what if he comes
or
back.
Or a broken
and
forearm.
I doubt it, probably with the score. We'll update that in the pod. But, hey, I mean, the Lions are imposing their will on offense. The run game is looking incredibly strong, strongest it's ever looked. So love that I'm seeing that. I'd love to see some more in the second half, and let's get some Hendon Hooker in there, get some backups involved. Let's go Lions into the second half versus the Jags. Shout out to the parents that are there. Fire up chips.
Halftime capsule, Lions 28, Jags 6, doing what good teams do. Technology tried to force me not to watch Sound the upgrade. game because nobody wants to watch this game outside of Michigan except for me. Lions look
And me.
good. Offense is humming. Hopefully Anzalone is short-term injury there. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep the gas pedal pressed down all the way to the floor mats. Keep playing on them. Looks great. Keep it up. Go Lions.
Here we are, shareholders. Halftime, 28-6. Defense holding strong, only giving up a couple field goals. Like to see it. I thought for sure we'd have a touchdown given up. Love to see it. Hate to see the injuries. Zadarius Smith, like to see him come back. Would love to see Anzalone in the second half. Offense, very efficient. I think that's what you can say about this. Had one touchdown for 4 plays, a lot of big chunk yardage plays, and Monty once again proves cannot be brought down by one man. This offense is humming. I think the Jags are legitimately in just a different league of football right now. Need to come out, stifle them here. If you can get us through. Offense gets the ball first. Let me start there.
My
If you
favorite
can
part.
get another score on there and defense gets another stop, I think the game's over. Let's go Lions.
Hey, way to catch yourself, brother.
You always got to remember where you're at.
Oh, it's tough. It's tough. You start rattling off those things in the halftime capsules, shareholders. You wouldn't know what it's all about. Maybe we should have some shareholders send their halftime capsules in one of these days. But it's a tough job. Somebody's got to do it. Yeah, we're all a little optimistic there about Anzalone's injury. Too bad we found out shortly after that that's not going to be the case. So it is what it is.
It's all right. Fresh for playoffs.
Mitch, who's your BAM of the week?
Goff. I think just like the way you bounce back after probably a career worst game. Huge. Just looked good. Again, like to see the scrambling too, to taking what was there in front of him when all the green was there instead of throwing the ball away or just taking the sack, trying to find something. So I think Goff played a great game. That's my BAM player of the week. I try to keep it simple, but not everybody does that.
I think he's taking a shot at you, Andrew.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
not
sorry.
necessarily.
There's a lot of guys that deserve credit out there, not just Goff. I mean, perfect passer rating, but take it easy, guy. I'm going the whole coaching staff. You could try to delete it on me. It's not going to get me. Hank Fraley, Scotty Montgomery, Benjamin, like you guys said, all of these guys really deserve it. After you lose Anzalone.
You forgot one. You forgot one. This is why I did it.
Ooh,
To
Mark
keep you
Brunell.
on your
Is it
toes.
Mark Brunell?
There it is.
Yeah.
In
Against
my
his
face.
old team,
In my
the
face.
Jags.
There you go. But I mean, the entire coaching staff to have the comeback they had last week, and then to keep the team on an absolute high, got them turned around, got them ready for today, and then played their game no matter the competition. So I'm giving it to the coaching staff.
Shout out to that whole coaching staff, and if anybody caught Dan in the press conference or in the locker room, I can't remember. May have been both, but he said, everybody on that offense deserves a game ball today, and I think he's right. This was a hard one. Just gut reaction for me, it was going to be Goff, and so I'm going to give it to Goff especially after what he had last week. Only 5 incompletions this week. Very clean, perfect passer rating, 158.3, 4 touchdowns, and an average of 14.2. Just doing his job out there, getting the ball spread around to so many targets out there, and but you could make the case for a lot of guys. St. Brown had an absolute bonkers day. Same with JMO, Gibbs, and Monty, and that offensive line. So many deserving of it this week, but I'll give it to Goff. Shareholders, that means it's up to you. Go down below on Spotify, also in the comments to vote for your BAMS player of the week. All right, last things before we talk about the NFL. First thing is, do you guys think Doug Peterson is officially out for the Jags?
It's going into the bye week. Just do it. I understand that some people will make the argument like, oh, what does it do for your team? But like, what does it do to keep them? I mean, give your team, give your fans a little something. To me, when you fire head coaches in the middle of the season, it's for your fans, not so much the team. Your team is cooked regardless. So why not give the fans a reason to believe that you as the owner care and agree, you know what, product has not been good enough. We're going to do something and we're serious about it. And then see what kind of talent is out there on your current coaching staff. I think he's got to go and should go and will go.
1,000,000% agree. I thought he was going to get fired at halftime when he gave his answer of, what do you got to do to stop the Lions? And he said, well, we got to be a little cleaner. We got to keep our offense on the field a little bit longer. Like, I get it, man. You got to convert first downs.
He's actually frozen this time.
Ooh, I'm trying to reconnect. What did you guys miss?
Oh boy, I thought your brain actually quit on you for
No.
a
I'm still here intact.
I think we'll get it in the final recording.
Okay, well, I was just saying, his halftime chat on how to stop him was they got to keep their offense out there longer, and I get it. You got to get first downs, man. But if that's what your thoughts are for stopping an offense, is you guys got to stay out on the field longer.
Just give them less time.
They scored in 4 plays. That was grounds for firing right there.
Well, did you see what they said? He said after the game, someone asked him, and he basically just said, "If it's going to happen, it's going to happen." So
he's ready for it. He's ready for retirement.
I told you guys, and Andrew, you may have been saying this and gotten interrupted, and maybe I missed it, but you're down 28-3 going into the half at home, like on the road against a consensus top 2 team in the league, and to cut into the lead, you take a field goal, and you're giving the ball back at that. To me, if I'm Shad Khan, you're done. You clearly don't have the gumption to win. So what's the point in keeping him around?
Not only that, Mitch, and I get that they don't have Trevor Lawrence. Not only that, but Shad Khan at the beginning of the year said this is the best team they've ever constructed.
I think they might fire Doug Peterson and their GM. They really should just fire. They'll probably fire Doug Peterson right now. I don't know that you fire your GM in the middle of the season, but to me, it's get a jump on get a jump on your coaching search. Oh no. Oh, or Aaron Glenn or Doug Peterson. Aaron Glenn, it feels like something that the Jags need that culture shift. Oh, and Aaron Glenn's probably a good guy to do it. Damn it.
Don't give them any ideas now. They might listen to this. They might not listen to the podcast, but we definitely won't clip this because that's where all the views come in.
It rains too much in Jacksonville. He won't be able to see through his glasses.
That's the best stat you've ever pulled for us right there. You're absolutely right. But yeah, I totally agree about the 28-6 field goal to make it 28-6. I mean, I know you have struggled to get past the 50 all day, and you only had 1 field goal going to it. You wanted something going into the half, but I don't know. It's just a stupid move on his behalf, and only end the day with 10 first downs for the Jags today. I mean, there's nothing you can pull from this that you can be like, oh, well, this happened, and we can feel good about that. There's really nothing, and that's not to take shots at the Jags. It just wasn't their day. 40 minutes the Lions held the ball to 20 for the Jags. That's 2/3 of the game that the Lions had the ball in their hands. So it's nothing good to say for the Jags. Probably going to see them with some new faces in Jacksonville soon, in Duval. And the last thing, the Lions have unveiled new uniforms, obviously, this year. And they continue to go with the all blues and the all whites. When are we going to get the silver pants? I don't understand. I know that the team plays better in the blueberries. I know they love the blueberries. Give me the silver pants.
I think Thanksgiving for sure, because it's more of that classic look. I think Thanksgiving you'll see the silver pants with the blue tops.
That's it, Mitchell. They're going to go back to because they're breaking all these records, they're going to go back to the Ford of old. They're going to go back to the old ownership and the change. Oh, it's going to be a whole thing.
I just can't believe they haven't broken them out already. But I digress. I used to say that all the time, and now I don't say it anymore. Let's move over to the spreadsheet.
I think I shamed you at some point. I said we're going to start a digress track.
Shocker. Take a drink every time Mitch has shamed me on this podcast. Yeah. All right. Let's go to the spreadsheet. Week 11 in the NFL started with Thursday night. Commanders lost to the Eagles. Eagles got a big win. They continue their hot streak, but I think it ends soon for the Eagles. I think it was brewing. Commanders just a younger team. I think the Eagles showed them what was up at home, but I think once they go to play in Washington, I think you'll see the Commanders take the Eagles in that one.
Yeah, so Andrew, I think you were saying that maybe you think the Commanders are F words. Where do you stand on that after this week?
I'm still there.
Okay.
Especially
That's
after the Bears doing what Bears do.
Yeah, Packers absolutely sneak away with one. I just saw a quote that the Packers special teams coordinator basically said he doesn't see how they don't come away with. Essentially, I'm blowing this quote, but basically the Packers special teams coordinator said he can't imagine that they don't block at least one extra point or field goal today. So the Bears have holes, essentially.
Swiss cheese.
Wait a second. The Packers called their shot on that?
Yes.
Oh, no.
It's pretty tough, huh?
Oh, that is very tough.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Are the Vikings frauds without Kirk Cousins?
Struggled today. It was close game there for a while.
Right? The last couple weeks, just squeaking by against two of the worst teams in the NFL.
23-13.
Well, they did start hot, but they started the season hot. They started slow today, but they found it out. They won. I mean, they figured it out.
Did anybody catch while you were watching the Bills-Chiefs game? Did anybody catch their recap of the 1:00 window? They started it out with the Steelers beating the Ravens, big deal. Then they went to the Lions beating the Jags today, and then they said, I think that screen said, Vikings throttle Titans, and I said, wait a minute, did I misremember the score? I thought it was only like a 10-point game.
Is it one that like the box score like doesn't actually do it justice? Like I kind of said it tongue in cheek earlier, but is that a legit thing?
Yeah, it was. I don't know.
Well,
they were highlighting that Sam Darnold had 2 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown.
Well, that was what I was going to say. Based on Sam Darnold's fantasy score, he was ugly early and then just jumped real quick. So he must have popped off real fast.
All right. Well, I didn't see any of that game, so I can't speak on it, but I thought that was interesting that CBS did that. That seemed like, I don't know, somebody in the bus in the TV room was saying to make that title. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get out of there before I talk myself into a hole there. Dolphins beat the Raiders. I don't have much to say about that. Rams were losing bad to the Patriots there for a bit, and then I think Stafford had 3 or 4 touchdowns passes in that one. Rams get a big win there. They need to keep winning games, and got some help from the Seahawks with the win today, keeping that division tight with the 49ers.
It's just wide open. Me and Andrew were talking about this before you jumped on, Ben. I think the 49ers might be cooked.
Yeah, I thought with CMC back, I thought that
they just need everyone. But and then Kittle's out, and it's like if they don't have all their starters, they can't win a game.
Yeah, I don't know who takes that division. You've got the Cardinals 6-4, and then everybody else 5-5.
I think it might be the Cardinals, and we might see like the Rams. I think Cardinals and Rams both make the playoffs. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I don't know. In my simulations, it's tough. If the Packers would have lost today, that would have opened up the window a little bit. But I don't think you could send 3 in the North and also send 3 from the West, or 2 from the West. I mean,
I think the Seahawks are veterans. I think they make it in.
Ooh,
you're high on the Seahawks for some reason, and I'm trying to figure it out.
Shout out to you for taking them today.
The coach is stinky. He seems like he doesn't know what he's doing, but it feels like Gino is more of a coach than he is.
Okay. It's quite the shot.
I accept that, I guess.
I was trying to move on because I don't want Andrew to get too hot right now. Jets are really bad. Jets are dead.
Hey, how come you skipped Saints Browns?
Huh?
How come you skipped Saints?
I don't know. I was trying to think of like stuff that was relevant, and I mean the Rizzler strikes again.
Yeah.
Not actually, the Rizzler strikes by letting Taysom Hill just do whatever Taysom Hill wants to do. Crazy.
Plugged him in fantasy this week too.
Oh, clutch play as a tight end.
Yep.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
That's huge. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I thought the Browns were a better team, and it turns out they're just bad.
Yeah, it's tough.
Or, and maybe this is the thing. Like maybe the Saints are just good, and Dennis Allen was just really bad.
Yeah, it's
the
hard to
Saints
say.
are still banged up. They lost a lot of receivers.
They are. Like you said, Andrew, they got the Rizzy bump the first week. This was me taking a chance by taking them here because I didn't know if they would really have more of a bump than just one game. Like you said, a lot of times it's just the one game interim bump. I thought this was a good opportunity for them, but I don't know. I don't think they do anything else outside of these two games in a row here. I think they can play spoiler, and that's about it. I mean, I know that they're 2 games back in that division, but I don't know.
The Bucs are better. This one, it was more about Jameis being back in town, but seems like he was just happy to be there, didn't care about the win. Did you? I don't know if you guys saw him afterwards talking to Taysom. Oh, man, they were really embracing each other. Good buds that hadn't seen each other in a long time. Jameis didn't care about football.
Jets, Colts, Anthony Richardson gets the dub for the Colts. He's gonna make the starting role, it sounds like, for the rest of the year, but the Jets are done.
Yeah, Jets. This is more about the Jets just being a bad team, I think. Whereas I would say Steelers defense is really good. The Steelers didn't score a touchdown and they beat the Ravens. That's
insane.
crazy.
That's crazy.
A Ravens team that was putting up 440 yards a game.
Crazy. Dude, I'm so glad that the Jets are officially cooked, though, because early in the season you could tell they weren't a great team, but the media can kind of like spin it and make it look pretty good still early in the season, so the losses don't really matter. It's over now, dude, and it's incredible to watch them all collapse on it.
You know what I think it is? I think Aaron Rodgers has the same effect as like the star on the Cowboys helmet. It's like you just in your mind you're like, it's Aaron Rodgers, it's Devontae Adams, like they're gonna figure it out. They have all this talent on their team, and they just stink. Like it's just like until like 2 weeks ago, no one believed that everyone was like the Cowboys are gonna figure it out. No, the Cowboys are bad.
Once again, a team that doesn't build at the offensive line first. It's just insane to me.
It is insane. Not doing it the right way and going with the flash, and this is what you get. You reap what you sow. And the Jets reaping what they sow here. It's just, it couldn't happen to a better franchise. But like you said, Mitch, Steelers defense continues to show what they're all about. TJ Watt's got the buzz cut now, so he means business like he didn't already. And Tucker missed a couple field goals, and it just seems like every time the Steelers and Ravens meet, it's within a field goal, and it's low scoring, and it's sloppy, and it doesn't matter what their records are coming in. It's just incredible. But big win for the Steelers there at home. Big win in the AFC, drops the Ravens down with 4 losses now. We can skip over Falcons-Broncos. Just kidding. Shout out to you, Mitch, for taking the Broncos. Should have rode with you in Broncos country in this one. They throttled the Falcons today, 38-6.
Angry.
And then the 49ers lost to the Hawks. Andrew, shout out to you for taking the Hawks. This is where my day started to get bad. A couple losses in a row for me here. And Geno Smith with a run in late seals the victory for the Seahawks, like we talked about in that division. That is so tight. And then the big game of the day, Bills, Chiefs. Shout out to us for all taking the Bills. Let's go. The Bills finally do it. They finally beat the Chiefs.
We did it for you, America.
Love to see it. A couple INTs for Patrick Mahomes in that one. That's always great to see. They just didn't look like themselves, and it's about time because they've had a lot of close games that they've won and ended up with that undefeated record. I feel so great for the Bills. And shout out to Josh Allen for the score late too, with just 2 minutes, a little above 2 minutes there on a 4th and 2. Made the right call. Didn't kick the field goal to only go up 5. Went for it in a big way. Got the 6 points there, 26-yard run. Mahomes ends under 200 yards and with 2 INTs. So that's great to see. The Chiefs are beatable. Confirmed.
Yeah. Love it. Everyone needed this. America needed this.
Yeah, and the Bills did everything they could to lose it too. So it's nice to see that you can beat them that way too.
Yeah, that interception Josh Allen threw was so bad. Like, you could do anything but turn the ball over right there.
That's the story that is Josh Allen, though. It feels like just every.
Not this year though. He's been so good at protecting the ball this year. It's
been
just
better.
like crazy. Yeah, and it feels like, I would say, if Bengals don't win tonight, they're probably done as well.
Yeah, it's a big matchup against the defense. Did you guys see the stat that the Chargers are only allowing 13 points coming into this game? Their defense did, and that's the lowest since when Jim Harbaugh was with the 49ers. So he just beat his own record. So
Yeah, what was the official stat? Because I think I heard they haven't given up more than 20 points a game in a game this year.
13 points a
Did you
game. I
guys-
don't know if they've gave up 20 or not, but probably not.
Did you guys see the like the B-roll from the Chargers warm-ups last week, where Harbaugh's catching balls from Herbert?
Yes.
He drops a ball, Andrew, and he just goes, "Damn
Pissed.
it, damn it!" It's awesome.
You know that meant everything to him too. A man of much passion.
I love that from Jim Harbaugh, but not to sidetrack kind of on the B-roll. Let's not let us forget the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight that just occurred. In the interview that happened in the locker room while Mike Tyson was wearing assless chaps and they allowed him to walk away and continue to film, is absolute incredible work by that cameraman.
Leave it to you, Papa, to bring that up.
I think everyone who's upset about that, like, oh, they did this for money. You think? Like, what do you mean? It's a 58-year-old boxing someone half of his age. What did you expect?
You're welcome. It wasn't pay-per-view. It was on Netflix. My God.
Yeah. Sorry for all the people who actually had to buy Netflix instead of stealing their cousin's login. Like, what did you imagine would happen here?
I'm so with you, and I'm glad you said it, Mitch, because every time this stuff happens, nobody says it ahead of time, and then right after the fight, there's always this reaction. It's like,
I mean,
I don't know
people
why
are
people
just
get
so
sucked
upset
into
about
that.
it. Yeah, like, Mike Tyson is 58 years old. If you know what? If Mike Tyson was 45 and Jake Paul, I think he's 26 or 27, 28, maybe, whatever he is. Okay, but he's 58. Like, he's
he's about to sign up for AARP.
Yeah, he can start collecting Social Security soon. Like, why are we so upset?
I don't get it. But to Andrew's point, have you seen all the memes that have been placed? I saw one today of that said image with the Jets logo on each cheek. Now that's why the internet was created, right there.
I love it.
I also saw one earlier in the week of Dak's face was on there too.
Even better.
Man, these are gonna go wild. Yeah, I couldn't believe that was real footage, but yeah, didn't want to sidetrack us too hard.
I was already asleep by all this happening, and then I just saw some memes about it, and I thought, what am I seeing here? I need to see what happened, and then I realized what happened. Shout out to the cameraman who tried to zoom in right after, give him a little waist up shot after that, but it wasn't quick enough. Was not quick enough.
I did not stay up. I had no interest.
Yeah.
No interest in staying up for that fight whatsoever.
Zero for me either. I didn't catch a second of it. I was dead asleep. All right, that is week 11 thus far. We've got Sunday Night Football going on right now. Like you said, Chargers taking on the Bengals. Chargers at home. That one's about to end or not end, but it's in the first quarter. It's 0-0. So we've got that game, and then we've got Texans versus Cowboys for the Battle of Texas tomorrow. As it stands right now, 8-3 for me coming into Sunday Night Football. Mitch 6-5, Andrew 7-4 with 2 games remaining. Andrew continues to, and we both have Chargers and we both have Texans, so nothing's going to change there as far as our records go. It'll be a 4-game lead for me. Anyway,
tough look for your boy.
We'll be back on Wednesday to preview the Lions taking on the Indianapolis Colts, Mitch's hometown team there.
Okay. And
shout out to the time that we went a couple years ago.
It was a blast. Their stadium's awesome.
Yeah. Prater with the game winner on that one. Yeah. Shout out to Lucas Oil. Good. It is a good stadium. Very steep in the section that we were in, I might add.
Very steep. Very steep once you get up there.
Walking down the stairs, careful if you've had a few drinks. It feels like you're going to fall over. Even if you're sober, it feels like you're going to fall over. All right. Like us, follow us, rate us, comment, 5 stars. Follow us on TikTok. That's where we're the hottest. Let's go Lions, 9-1. Kings of the North, Kings of the NFC right now. Got to continue taking care of business for the Lions. Alex Anzalone, get better.
Me, ouch.
Tough.
I like that.